Hello everyone, welcome back for another video. So today I'm going to be showing you how I would do a cross halving joint. So here you can see us transferring some square lines all the way around. I do this in pencil, and there is actually two sets of lines that I'm drawing. One's the actual thickness of the main piece, the main material, which is the same thickness as you can see now, and the second one is, I believe it was approximately 3 millimeters, which you can see is marking out with a marking gauge here. Here you can see is cutting the two lines for the inner portion of the joint, or the lap portion of the joint, and these were the lines that were brought in approximately 3 millimeters each side. So as all this is for is to accommodate the housing part of the joint, which you'll see later in the video. So here you can see is removing the material. This is obviously the lap portion of the joint. So I take a decent amount off at first, and then I start creeping towards my line. And it's always better for you to do this rather than to take one big massive chunk out of it, because there is a risk that you'll go beyond your line, which you don't really want. So now I'm just using my marker knife to deepen some knife holes that I had already previously done, obviously using the square, so I'm just making them deeper now. Bearing in mind that I haven't actually went the full thickness of the material, I have come slightly under the thickness of the material, and this is just basically going to guarantee a nice tight fit, and if need be, the main piece can be planed to a better thickness, or a better fit rather. So here you can see I'm using a chisel, and that's just to get the knife valley. So when I'm using the router plane, I don't dig into the sides, and obviously it's better for my eyesight, since my eyesight isn't too great. As you can see, I just keep working my way down with the thickness of the housing part of the joints, and where necessary I use my marker knife just to deepen the knife holes, and I just basically do this on both sides. And as you can see, as I'm showing you now, you can see kind of where we're going with this. So you can see the housing portion, and you can see the lap portion of the joint. So here you can see starting on the mating piece, and it's pretty much the same. Obviously you've got to take into consideration for the lap, you've got to take into consideration the housing portion of the joints. Admittedly, it's been a while since I've done one of these joints, and it had us very confused. I was, literally not second guessing myself, but I was going backwards and forwards checking my markings. It had us really confused for such a simple joint, or the simple joint it looks. It did have us really confused. So yeah, you can see is basically measuring out. I had already kind of marked it. I'm measuring again. As I said, I was really confused, so I was like literally double checking everything I was doing. So again, I'm just making some knife holes. As I said before, don't forget that I have actually had to bring these knife holes in. So on the first piece that I cut, the joint was obviously brought in 3 to 4 mil, and then obviously the housing portion of the joint. So you've got to take this into consideration when you're cutting this portion. That's why it's got us really confused. As you can see here, I'm kind of, am I going to cut it? Am I not going to cut it? I'm really confused. I had to really sit and think about this. No, I'm not going to cut it. I'm having a good old think about this now. And I was like this for about 5 minutes, going backwards and forwards. It looks like I'm going to cut it. No, I'm not going to cut it. Very confusing. It might actually be a good idea to actually, get a piece of paper and kind of work things out, which obviously I didn't do. I don't normally do things like that. I just kind of, you know, basically wing it. There's no other way to describe it. A lot of my work is done like on the spot type of thing. But as you can see, I convinced myself and I started cutting. And again, pretty much the same sort of method, just take out a big chunk and then sneak up to the line. It's pretty much exactly the same way as what I've done it. The only other thing you've got to take into consideration, obviously, when you put the pieces together, is kind of you're marking out where the housing is, or rather the housing portion of the first piece that I did. Now you can see what I was talking about a little bit earlier on, that I wanted the fit to be slightly under, or to mark it slightly under, so either get the joint perfect or get it so it doesn't fit, which is the problem here. What you can see, obviously it's not a problem, this was something that I wanted to happen, and as all it means now is I can sneak in with the plane, which I'm going to demonstrate now. And this just gives you a nice tight fit, and I'm a great believer in nice snug fits with your joinery. So a few passes with the plane, and I'm ready to put it together. And as you can see, it does go together. It is quite a nice snug fit, which obviously is what I wanted. So a couple of taps with the mallets, and it goes in just nicely. So at this point I am actually happy with the lap portion of the joint. As you can see, it's quite a nice fit, and all that's left now is the housing portion of the second piece, which you can see I'm marking out for now with the marking gauge, pencil lines, because I am blind as a bat. And it's exactly the same process. I just start creeping down with the router plane. Something you don't actually see on the video is while I'm doing this, I am actually cutting both sides at the same time, and I'm also checking the fits, after I've done every pass, just to make sure I don't go over, so the joint is loose, which I don't want. And that's pretty much it. I was quite happy with the joint. It was a nice tight fit, which I'm always looking for. If you're interested in seeing some detailed photos of this to actually see it up a little bit closer, you can check that out on my Instagram. There will be links in the description. And thanks very much for watching, guys. If you are interested, this is actually going to be a table, so keep your eyes open for the full video of the table build. Thanks for watching.